living every day in your head for free. You can tap away, but I will not hear you scream. You can break your keys, spread your toxicity, your world outside reality. In your room, a little hideaway, would you let it through? Enough to go insane, living in the dark hasn't treated you well. You're building your own prison cell. Hey, wait, don't waste it on me. Spite, lies telling you, don't waste it on me. Did I brush you off? Is it your lack of friends? We never met, even if you pretend. Am I in your debt? I don't owe you nothing. Don't say something you'll regret. Hey, wait, don't waste it on me. Spite, lies telling you, don't waste it on me. Hate, rage, don't waste it on me. Spite, lies telling you, don't waste it on me. Rage, don't waste it on me. Spite, lies telling you, don't waste it. I'm telling you, don't waste it. Lies telling you, don't waste it on me. What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let 'em burn it out. Sell 'em to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away. Burn away, we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it through the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, hate is face the world's mistakes. Wake it through the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it through the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, hate is face the world's mistakes. Wake it through the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Welcome to the Throttle Up Racing Network. Tonight we're back with the Cup Series, but this week the National Sim Group Cup Series. Same series, new name this week, new sponsor. Happy to invite National Sim Group here with us tonight at Talladega. Going to be an exciting one. We're getting ready to go into qualifying. Let's take a look at the top 20 in points. Andrew Mraz, your leader so far in the points. Andrew Moore in second. Landon Lacey, Jason Blaney, Dalton Fredericks round out your top five. Jim Thorndike, Michael Mueller, Kyle Zimmer, AJ Cruz, Quentin Clark all inside the top 10 right now. Zach Taylor, Michael Spengler, Braden Laster, John Tiller, Jake May, Simon Grills, Garrett Fox, Ben Cowdermarsh, Andrew Rousseau, and Joe Torres all in the top 20 in points right now. We're only going to take 16 for the playoffs. But I think we're going to be taking 12 for the playoffs. And right here are your four that are locked in right now. Michael Mueller, Dalton Fredericks, Garrett Fox, and Zach Taylor all locked in with wins as we go to qualifying. Andrew Moore out there right now. Out there for his first lap, down to the bottom, Andrew Moore Jr. had a good season so far up there. Second in points right now. Here's Andrew Mraz in that number 4 Sim Coach's car. Kyle Zimmer in the number 25 needs a good race tonight, along with Ben Cowdermarsh in the 14, all getting up to speed for their qualifying lap. Garrett Fox in the 85. Here's Joey Lamb in the number 18 car. First car across the line is Andrew Mraz. Michael Spengler second quick right now. Moore Jr. will now move up to third. He drops down as Landon Lacey takes the top spot. Bumps Mraz out. Roger Mattias, third quick right now. Jim Thorndike will come around in fourth fast. Quentin Clark, fifth quick. Trying to get a little better on that second lap. Dakota Bailey in the sixth quick. You're seeing a lot of these Filthy 5 cars up there on the speed charts. They were fast in practice. Landon Lacey first, Quentin Clark fifth, Dakota Bailey in sixth as they run right now. Michael Spengler's dropped to seventh, Moore Jr. back to eighth, Andrew Russo in ninth quick, Garrett Fox in 10th. Scott Wise with the 11th place time right now. Simon Grills in 12th. Ben Cowdermarsh comes around 13th quick. About a minute left in the session. Cody Bullock 15th fast. Chris Stange 16th. Scott Stockel 17th quick. Brayton Lasser in the 18th qualifying position right now. Jason Blaney 19th. John Tiller 20th. Mike Campeggio 21st. Joe Torres 22nd. Zachary Taylor locked in with a win already. 23rd quick right now. Dalton Fredericks, Gary Wells, 24th and 25th. Jacob May, 26th. 27th is Marco Evans. Joey Lamb, 28th. AJ Cruz, 30th as Joe Torres moves up to the 23rd position. Mike Robinson there is 31st. Brandon Browning just now getting up to speed. He is a Filthy 5 car. And the qualifying time has run out, so 32 competitors here tonight. Brandon Browning will be shotgun on the field as we get ready to go to the grid. We wait for the drivers to grid in. Here is your starting lineup. From the pole, Landon Lacey. In the number 52, Andrew Mraz. We'll start outside pole. third, Roger Matthias. Jim Thorndike in the fourth starting spot. Fifth is Quentin Clark. Sixth, Dakota Bailey. Seventh is Kyle Zimmer. Eighth, Michael Spengler. Ninth is Andrew Moore Jr. 10th is Andrew Rousseau. 11th is Garrett Fox. 12th is Scott Wise. 13th starting spot, Simon Grills. 14th, Ben Cowdermarsh. 15th is Brayton Laster. 16th is Cody Bullock. 17th, Chris Stange. 18th, Scott Stockel. 19th is Jason Blaney. 20th, John Tiller. 21st, Nathan Line. Rolling off from the 22nd position is Mike Campeggio. Joe Torres is going to start 23rd position. Zachary Taylor will start 24th. 25th will be Dalton Fredericks. 26th will be Gary Wells. 27th is Jacob May. 28th is Marco Evans. 29th, Joey Lamb. 30th will be AJ Cruz. 31st is Mike Robinson. 32nd, Brandon Browning and Lauren Wise rounding out the field. Atlanta Lacey brings them around. A couple of drivers starting from the pits, including Andrew Mraz. And they're coming around out of turn number 4. The pace truck will pull down, but we've got a long ways to go to get back to the start-finish line here at Talladega before they'll roll off. Green flag, we're underway for the National Sim Group Cup Series at Talladega. Quinn Clark, who had started up at the front, qualified up there, but he comes out of the pit lane. I think Brandon Browning going to wait for him. Car's already trying to sort out and get back down single file. None of these cars want to get involved in an early wreck. Up front, single file for the top 5. Landon Lacey, Roger Matthias, Jim Thorndike, Kyle Zimmer, and Andrew Moore Jr. all single files. They're double file side by side for several lanes behind them. So you've got 3 or 4 different groups right now as everyone getting up to speed. This should lend itself to having some green flag racing as all the cars are split up quite a bit. We'll have to see if anybody has anything for Landon Lacey or these Filthy 5 group. Right now they're controlling both the inside and the outside line. Simon Grills in the 9th spot down there on the bottom. We got one, oh, as they wreck on the outside line. Braden Laster involved. Campeggio up on the outside. The 6th of Dakota Bailey goes around. Frederick's able to scoot by. Cody Bullock in it. Let's go back and take a look. See where this started. I know the 25 of Zimmer had jumped out to let the lead group go by. He was wanting to get to the back. And Moore comes up the track right into Dakota Bailey. A hard hit to the outside wall. Russo nowhere to go. Cowdermarsh nowhere to go either. The 6, you see the right front suspension busted. He'll have a lot of repairs to do. The 13 of Laster with a hard hit to the inside wall along with Cowdermarsh. And they go spinning right against that inside wall. Let's take a look this time. Jason Blaney's in car. See what he saw. He moved down at the right time, I believe. Was able to avoid it all. As they go spinning behind him. A big melee. It's our first caution of the night. Happening here pretty early. Several cars coming down the pit lane, led by Michael Spengler. Mike Campeggio, Jacob May all coming back out. Dalton Fredericks, everyone getting a little gas and go here. Kyle Zimmer, you see the damage on the right front of his cars. He was just trying to get out of the way, gets involved in that incident, doing his best to not get involved in one. Sometimes that strategy doesn't pay off as well as you want it to. Joe Torres, that car looking very much like a Dale Earnhardt car. Love the paint scheme for Joe Torres tonight. Currently in the 18th position after that set of pit stops. And he is topped off and ready to go. There's Scott Wise and Brandon Browning also out of the pit lane. Some of these cars that were back in the back will have an opportunity to catch up to the field. Like Quentin Clark's now inside the top 10. He and Andrew Mraz both inside the top 10 after starting from the pits. The stage for stage 1, the lap will be lap 30, so still a long ways to go. A lot of fans in the stands here for this race tonight. Already action on the racetrack as we're going double file and getting ready to go green flag racing once again. Will they go double file this time? Will this big group stay together? We've got a lot still on pit road. Andrew Moore with a lot of damage. Came into here hoping for a good finish, but right now 25th. He'll drop to 26th as Zimmer goes by, and Spengler will pass, so he'll drop to 27th. Garrett Fox in there with some damage. Ben Cowdermarsh quite damaged up on the front end. Laster in as well, and we're expecting these, you know, if they're okay, they're going to have to get out there on the racetrack very soon. Nathan Lyon out there. All those cars right now in the pit lane. Landon Lacey will choose the outside line. Matthias down on the bottom of that number 1. The control car here will be Lacey. And we will wait to get down into that restart zone. There it is. Green flag. The 8 tried to go and give the 52 a shot. And now they'll get pulled out. Cars moving up to the outside lane. Strength in numbers up top right now as the 52 of Lacey gets back down to the bottom. Oh, we're already looking at 3 wide on the outside. That's the 94 Quentin Clark right against the outside wall. And he does tag the wall a little bit. He'll have to get out of it. He and the 4 of Mraz will drop back. They'll have to try to stay in the draft. Torres the big run. We've seen him in Atlanta take every run possible. If you're going to have that Dylan Earnhardt paint scheme, you got to race like an Earnhardt. Joe Torres is going to do that tonight as he moves his way up through the field. Second group right now led by the 48 of Brandon Browning. All single file, just trying to stay in it. A lot of these cars damaged from that first wreck. Top 4 single file, the outside lane led by Scott Stockel, trying to make a move. The 22 moves up to take the run. That's Jason Blaney. Oh, and they're wrecking in the back. The 3 of Torres around. 2 other cars involved there. The 30 of Gary Wells, one of those. Go back and take a look at it. The 94 up on the outside. Let's see if that had any involvement here. 30's down on the bottom. No Torres. I'm not sure that he thought that Gary was there. And that'll hurt Andrew Mraz as Gary gets sent to the outside wall. Let's take a look from the inside the cockpit. because the way iRacing works, when you're in the middle, it really will call you, car outside or car inside. Sometimes it doesn't call, you're in the middle. I think he was just heading to that bottom line and didn't see him until the very last second. You see him turn back when he realizes that there's a car there, but it was too late and they make contact. And around they go. These cars getting caught back up to the field. They'll have to go back in and try and fix some of that damage. Torres doesn't look like he's got a whole lot of damage, but he might be okay. We'll take a look at the 30 of Gary Wells. Yeah, seemingly okay for him as well. Some right side damage, but shouldn't be too bad. And the 4 of Mraz. Oh, he's got a broken toe link, so Mraz comes away with the worst of it. Having a hard time getting into his stall, so might be an early ending here for Andrew Mraz. We'll see how quickly that they can get that toe link repaired on the front end. Rousseau, first car out of the pit lane. Staying on the track though, Landon Lacey out front still continues to lead. Roger Matias second. Jason Blaney running in the third spot. He's gained 16 positions. Not the biggest mover right now, but second biggest mover, Jason Blaney. Scott Stockel up 14 spots to get to fourth. Jim Thorndike kind of staying where he's at. Started fourth, now he's in fifth. And that 59, and he's trying to hold on to this top five. Chris Stange in sixth. John Tiller up 13 spots. Our biggest mover of the day so far, Jake May, up 19 spots. And that number 10 to get into the 8th position. So a big move and a big day right now going for Jake May. Mike Campeggio, he's running right now in 9th. He's up 13 positions to get that 9th position. So fantastic job so far from Mike Campeggio trying to get some stage points. Cody Bullock rounds out your top 10. Those on the outside looking in as we get about a third of the way through this first stage. Zachary Taylor, he's gained 13 positions to get up to 11th. Also gaining 13 positions is Dalton Fredericks in 12th. So those two knocking on the door, getting into that top 10. Simon Grills is 13th. Quentin Clark 14th. Mike Robinson in 15th. Brandon Browning 16th. Both those cars up 16 positions. Scott Wise in 17th position. Marco Evans 18th right now. Andrew Moore 19th. And Andrew Rousseau rounds out your top 20. Gary Wells 21st. You saw Brayton Laster there. He's 29th, a couple laps down. Joe Torres right now 22nd. Did get that damage mostly repaired, so he should be good to go. Garrett Fox in 23rd. Joey Lamb in the pits. He's coming out, as well as AJ Cruz. They'll round out your top 5. Spengler's going to come around again and gain a spot there. Kyle Zimmer 27th, and Mraz looking like he might be out of this one, as they have still not repaired that right front. Brayton Laster a couple laps down as he got that damage repaired, but that car looking a whole lot better right now. With enough cautions, he might get back to the lead lap, as he is 2 laps down. And Benner Cowdermarsh is 5 laps down. Everyone else right now seemingly out of this race. Lights off on the iRacing pace truck. Lacey once again chooses that outside line. We talked to Lacey earlier in the year, said he usually ends up pushing the winner home, finishes second at a lot of these super speedway races. So Landon Lacey wants to come home the winner on this one. Coming around the tri-oval to go back to the green flag. And it's out. Green flag. We're underway again. Skockel with a great start gives Blaney a big push, and they'll both get down to the bottom lane. Lacey out front, the outside line led right now by Chris Stange in the 72, getting a big push from Jake May as they try and make their way to the outside of these front three who've gotten single file. Can't hold the momentum. That outside line starting to drop back a little bit. One jumps up in front of him. That looks like Jim Thorndike. It's Jake May looking to the inside. He'll get down there. The outside lane trying once again now with Jim Thorndike on the point. Top five single file right now. John Tiller joins the top five, and now he'll move to the outside. Side draft from Tiller. Leading this outside group. Now the 22 of Blaney will jump up in front of him. Lacey has to block as Scott Stockel goes to the outside. Lacey back to the bottom, but we're three wide, middle of the pack. Right up against that outside wall, that's the 9, Mike Campeggio. And he gets back down in the line. Jake May with a big move on the lead. Lacey in the middle gets hit to the outside wall. The 52 of Lacey, caution on the speedway. And Lacey through the grass, a hard hit to the outside wall. We'll have to check and see if that toe link's still intact. Look like some right side damage, but things might be okay for Lacey. Let's go take a look. A little further back here. We saw Jake May take a big move to the inside as they were coming out of turn 4. Lacey with the block. May with just an incredible move down to the bottom. The 16 of Taylor looks to take it with him, but can't. And Lacey, looks like Taylor kind of crossed him up, gave him a little razzle dazzle, and the 52 hits him on the left front and kind of gets turned into the outside wall. We'll take a look from the 16. See what he saw through this. inside, back to the outside. Overall, not as bad as it could have been, but the 16 with huge damage on the right front, so he's the one that ends up taking it the worst. You see that right front tire just destroyed. You know, that car's got to be hard to drive with no right front wheel. So several cars already out of this race. Some coming down to get some repairs. We'll see what kind of damage Zach Taylor is able to make, if he's able to fix that and get back out. Jake May will be your leader. The 13 of Brayton Lasser will get the free pass here. And that'll get him back to 1 lap down. Still a long race to go. All of you Brayton Lasser fans, he'll get back out onto the lead lap. Still at least 2 more stage cautions. So as long as Brayton can keep his nose clean, should be back on the lead lap. At least by lap 30 or lap 60. Let's go back, take one more look at this thing. This time let's go from the 5 of Scott Stockel. Let's take a look from the roof cam. And here's May with this big move to the bottom, and just nothing that Lacey can do there with such a run. Taylor went middle, then went back to the top, and you see the 52 come up across that line. Well, if you thought we were going to have some clean racing, some good green flag racing, we still may get that, but so far these drivers trying their best to get to the front. Big moves, big blocks early in this race, and we've already seen several cautions. But good news, we're about to go green flag racing once again. The number 10 of Jake May out front. The 1 of Roger Matias. Second spot, Scott Stockel third. Cody Bullock in fourth. And Jason Blaney will round out your top 5. Let's take a look at tonight's race info. We got 91 degrees, the air temperature here in Alabama. Temperature on the track, 130 degrees. So that might be one reason we're seeing these drivers kind of all over the racetrack. Hot track temp, less grip. But this league is open setup, so I'm sure they've planned for that. But today, partly cloudy, 2-mile-an-hour winds. Around this 2.65 mile racetrack, Talladega Superspeedway. Down to the restart zone. Jake May this time will lead us off. He chooses the inside line. Green flag once again. Matias with the jump on the outside. He'll get down in front of the 10. Jake May nose to tail right there on the bumper of the 1. Roger Matias gonna lead his first lap of the night. Here comes Stockel on the outside. Maybe I spoke too soon. Stockel will get it. The 22 of Jason Blaney with a massive push. These top 3 are teammates. Fantastic designed run around the outside. Scott Stockel, Jason Blaney, and John Tiller will move around the entire inside line and take over the first, second, and third positions. Jake May moves to the outside. 5 cars around the bottom, single file. 4 now. That 77 and Moore Jr., an opportunity to move forward. The 59 of Jim Thorndike will jump down into that gap. Now he's going to move up. 20 laps in the books. 94 laps here tonight. We're racing to lap 30 to end stage number 1. Will we have another caution before we get to the end of the stage? May trying to move that outside line. Campeggio with a big push. Momentum right now on the outside as they're drawing even. Can't get it done that time. Scott Stockel will maintain the lead. I think if I'm up here in this lead group, I don't want to be involved in another incident, as we've seen several of them already today take out some very competitive cars. That outside line with the steam right now. 4 cars up there. 1 will move to the bottom. That's Cody Bullock trying to take the lead. Teammate Simon Grills right behind him. And Grills with a big push. Bullock around the bottom. Looked like May wanted to throw the block there, but it was a little bit too late. All even up. They're going to be side by side for the rest of the stage. This outside line right now just pulling. The pulling power of Jake May, the pushing from Mike Campeggio working so well around this outside line. May up on the outside. Thought about blocking Cody Bullock, but it's not going to get it done as the steam on this bottom line. Cody Bullock will put the nose out front. Getting the push from Simon Grills around the bottom. Three wide in the back of the pack. The three of Joe Torres up on the outside. The one who has been up front for a lot of this race, Matias, in the middle. Tiller down on the bottom. They'll get back down into single file. We saw the 85 of Garrett Fox down on pit road earlier, getting a lot of damage repaired, and he's back up to this lead pack, currently in the 15th position. Matias making a line around the outside. All of his help is gone, though, as he will get back into that outside line. Now the pack starting to get single files. This outside line just too hard to contend with. We'll have to see if someone takes it three wide and goes even higher. Matias, we've watched him drive through the field. He's got a fantastic race car, very fast. Number one Toyota Camry around the bottom. Jim Thorndike trying to give the push up the bottom, and we've got one up against the wall. That's the 25 of Zimmer, as now they wreck in front. The 51 involved, Cody Bullock. Looks like the 8 went up and hit the outside wall pretty hard. The 85, Garrett Fox, and there's Zimmer involved in another one where he was just really far out of the way, but somehow ended up involved. Looks like the 8 might have a busted suspension. Let's see if he's able to drive it. Nope, the 8 will have to tow, as that car is busted. We were getting down to the end of the stage. Things were really starting to get ramped up there. And let's take a look at how this one started. The 51 of Bullock looks like a stack up. As you see here just in front of Bullock, we'll take a look. The 59 of Thorndike. Down here on the bottom line, the 59 and the 72. The 59 is getting a big run on the 1, and he has to check up. The 72 has to check up as well, as he's right on the back bumper of the 59, and the 51 just right into the back of him. And that sends him sideways. I don't know if he hit the brakes or what to send that car so far sideways. But he goes around. The 8 gets turned down, trying to avoid it. Does a good job of avoiding it, but as he comes back onto the racetrack, right there just gets loose. Oh, and nowhere for Garrett Fox to go as the 8 comes sliding back onto the racetrack. There comes Zimmer. We'll take one more look at it. This time we'll go on the end car, the 85. Just happened so fast. Oh, and as you see, just nowhere to go as that 8 who had lost control back up the racetrack. Looks like he still has power to the axles and able to get that car back to the pit road. But a lot of damage. Jake May continues to lead here. We are coming down to the end of stage 1. Tonight's race is a Dash for Cash qualifier. We saw that Dash for Cash race at Atlanta. A thrilling finish at the end for that. So on the line tonight, the top 4 finishers will be in to race for the Dash for Cash race next week. So we will keep up with that. Who is in our top 4 right now? Jake May looking like he might be a lock, but he might be the only one. But we've seen some of the others that were up front in this one that are now out of the race or several laps down. Landon Lacey, we saw him earlier get involved in that incident up in the outside wall. He has driven his way all the way back to 8, so he is still on the lead lap. And he is driving his way through the field right now, eligible to get stage points. Jake May will lead us off again. He'll choose the bottom, the outside line with a good run last time. Lacey, every time he was out front, chose that outside line. So we'll see if Jake May can have a better restart right here. They're heading down the backstretch, getting ready to go green flag. Gary Wells up into the top 7 right now with a great run for that number 30. Actually, I believe he's in the 8th position, but Gary Wells, a phenomenal run to get up there. Quentin Clark started from the pits, and now he's up here in 8th. A good run for Quentin. Mike Robinson in the 29, another great run up 20 positions to get to where he's at. Our big mover, though, is Jake May, our leader, and second biggest mover is Dalton Fredericks in 3rd, up 22. And up 20 positions is Mike Campeggio. So these drivers have moved their way well up through the field as we are getting ready to go back for a short shoot here. Green flag. That time a great restart. May and Fredericks fired off at the same time. And I believe that was the end of the stage, so Jake May will bring it home. Lacey down around the bottom. think he might have some nose damage. That damage that he has is not going to let him lead the line, as he does have some nose damage. Still a car fast enough to push someone up to the front. Right now, everyone taking that high line, going right around him. The guys in the outside line have really found something here, running up above the bottom. Typically, you see when the field strings out and goes single file that everyone will run right around that yellow line across the bottom. But Jake May making this middle line work, and everyone seeming to follow suit as they are making some speed around this racetrack. Let's take a look. 197 there for a second for May out front. Torres, middle of the pack. Let's see his speed down the front stretch. Kind of jumping around, but about 190 down the front straightaway. So for the most part, this field has gotten single file, trying to run to stage 2. We'll take a look at the pit strategy. May has been out there for most of this race, a 29-lap run right now for all of the top 4, the 23-lap runs for Wells and Torres. Stage, Tiller, and Blaney each just pitted, so they'll be able to run for a long time compared to a lot of this front group. Tiller with a nose peeking down to the inside. Taking a ride along with John Tiller. You can see just how far we're strung out right now. This front group actually hard to keep up with, as you see kind of the tail end of the group. Some of these cars that have a little bit of damage starting to fall off the back of that pack. Jason Blaney currently in 10th position. Teammates all around him. I'm sure we'll see him try to make a move before this thing's over with. The 25, Kyle Zimmer back in pit lane. He'll come back out on the racetrack, couple of laps down. This second group right now is led by Looks like Brandon Browning, but the 6, Dakota Bailey, he's a couple laps down. The 4, Mraz, is a couple laps down. They're the lead 2 cars in this group. Brandon Browning, the first car that you see there on the lead lap. And this group just trying to hold serve with the front group and try and catch back up. They've all gotten grouped together, running that outside line as the front group. They're trying to bring it down a little bit to the bottom. Can they reel them in? Right now they are catching them slightly faster. About 4/10 that last time by. This second group was quicker. But now they kind of spread out a little bit. Let's see if they get back together. That time by only a 1/10 quicker. But they can catch them. They've still got 20 laps to do it before the end of the stage, and if they catch them with a head of steam just the right way, they'll pull out to that outside line and try and go right around. But up front right now, Jake May leading this group around. Jake May in the lead, but Dalton Fredericks in second. You see Dalton trying to keep this front line ahead of the second group. And that's less cars that you have to battle when it gets down to the end of the stage. If you can get these cars separated. And he can certainly do that from the second spot, really push the pace. Coming up on a car coming out of the pit lane. That's the 85 of Garrett Fox off in the distance. He comes back out onto the racetrack. I think he's the first car maybe a lap down. I think Moore Jr. might be the first car a lap down. We'll have to see. Fox is the first car lap down, but now he is 4 laps down as the pack goes by. Who's going to be the first cars to pull out, and when will that strategy come into play? I'm expecting some of these front cars are going to have to pit here before too long. 37 laps for the front 4. I know there's some caution laps in there, but they're starting to stretch it. And I expect before this is over with, these fueled up motorsports drivers, John Tiller, Jason Blaney, expect them to make a move. Chris Staines right now in the lead of that 3-car group. right there in the middle. This large front line of cars. You see as Fredericks and May continue to push this pace, Landon Lacey now has started to drop off from the pack. Lacey's in 14th, so if you're going for stage points, but you know all of these drivers want those stage points. If you can drop some of these guys off the back of the pack by pushing that pace lap after lap, some of these cars that are damaged, like Landon Lacey, and Cody Bullock's also been in an incident, and they'll have to get back with that second group. But now you've only got to fight 13 cars if you're Jake May and Dalton Fredericks to get one of those top 10 positions. So definitely helping your chances as this race goes along. Three more now have dropped off that pack. Jason Blaney's at the end. Marco Evans, Jim Thorndike, and Scott Stockel all start to fall and fade away. Now only 10 cars are in this lead group. This, for the first time, they head to that inside line. We're expecting pit stops coming off the corner. Will Jake May pit here? Down to that yellow line, they're all coming in. May stays out. Caution on the speedway. '51 of Cody Bullock involved as he's trying to get it restarted and going. Looks like he will be able to drive away. A little bit of a crab walk there. Let's take a look at just what happened. The 51 already sideways here. We'll back it up a little bit. The 48 come from the outside. I'm not sure what happened there. It looked like an equipment failure, maybe a steering wheel, like it in his actual sim rig may have malfunctioned, or maybe he just got really loose as he was there right behind the 4. Maybe the air off of that 4 kind of got him sideways. We'll take a look. See what the wheel does here. Yeah, I think it just got loose out of nowhere. Just gets loose and comes right across the racetrack. We'll look at it in full speed. There really wasn't much wheel action in it. Lasser takes a front and a rear impact. But now all these cars that needed to pit will now be able to go down the pit lane. Stange will stay out. Fredericks in. Campeggio, Scott Wise, most of those in the front group all now will head to the pits and get fuel, at least. Maybe not tires. Some of them will probably take tires. And May down and away. Gary Wells with a fantastic pit stop. Those that stayed out, Chris Stange in the 72, he'll inherit the lead. John Tiller in the number 12. Jason Blaney in the 22. And Scott Stockel in the number 5. All those cars teammates, fueled up motorsports cars, all on the same strategy. Andrew Rousseau in the number 27, and he'll move up to the 5th position as he stays out. First car to pit and get out with fuel. Don't think he took tires though. Jake May in the number 10. Gary Wells in the number 30. Dalton Fredericks up to 8th, or back to 8th rather. He lost the spot on pit lane. Joe Torres, 9th spot. Mike Campizio right now will round out your top 10. Behind him, Scott Wise, Jim Thorndike, Roger Matias, 13th. Marco Evans, 14th. 15th is Andrew Moore Jr. 16th, Mike Robinson. Joey Lamb in 17th. 18th is AJ Cruz. 19th, Brandon Browning, involved in that wreck, but not enough damage to keep him in the pits. He's able to get back going. Landon Lacey will come back out of the pits in 20th. And 21st, the last car running right now. We'll see who else comes out of the pits, is Cody Bullock. And Michael Spengler will come out of the pits, as well as Brayton Laster. They're 22nd and 23rd. Quentin Clark getting some damage repaired. He's still on the lead lap. And Garrett Fox, the first car outside of the lead lap, and he is 3 laps down now as he does get the free pass. Stage will choose the outside line. We'll see if there's any type of teammate camaraderie here, as all of the top 4 right now are fueled up motorsports. We'll see if this outside line is able to get enough of a jump to clear the inside line and maybe get all 4 of those fueled up motorsports cars together, or they may choose to try and control both the inside and the outside lines. We'll see what kind of strategy they choose here. This is the first time of the night this Stange has been in the lead. Who's going to come away with it? How's this restart going to go? Chris Stange up front with teammates John Tiller, Scott Stockel, and Jason Blaney in the top 4. Every fan on their feet right now. Green flag. And Stange, not the restart he wanted. Stockel dropped back, and actually looks like Blaney jumps to the outside. So Tiller now in charge of the bottom. Let's see, I think Stange is going to try and let him up in front of him. And he does, but teammate Blaney spins him out. A hard hit to the inside wall. We remain green as these cars are down off the racing surface. The number 30 of Gary Wells also involved. And Stange, that car, busted rear axle. He'll have to tow after restarting on the lead. Team orders leads to a spin out. Three wide. Jake May up there Dalton Fredericks on the outside line too. Lacey trying to look up the middle, can't go. Now one on the bottom, that's Rousseau. Let's take a quick look at this Chris Stange crash. Let's get a better look at it as these, I think they were trying to let the 12 of Tiller up. Blaney gets a little uneven and sends the 72 down, and the 30 goes right around with him, but no caution. Doesn't look like the 30 really hit the wall very hard at all. So he'll continue, but he'll be out of the draft. $50 laps on the board. Jake May out front, Dalton Fredericks in second. Looking to go 3 wide. That's the 4 of Mraz, several laps down. Now he'll get back into line behind the 1. Those fueled up cars have dropped back as it's 59 of Thorndike getting shoved out into the lead. And once again, we've heard Landon Lacey talk about how he is a great pusher and always finds himself in second instead of being able to win one of these races. And right now, again, finds himself in second, pushing Jim Thorndike. Seven to go here in stage number 2. Mraz making moves, trying to get one of his laps back the hard way. As John Tiller has moved himself back into the 4th spot. Kind of being involved early in that incident with Stange. Caused him to drop back through the pack. The 10 of Jake May, another loose episode. May keeps his foot in it. But now he'll watch out his windshield as these drivers drive away from him. And that's twice we've seen a car just get completely loose and sideways. Drivers, when they're coming into their pit stops, not thinking that tires are something that they need to take, but I think now we've seen twice both Brandon Browning, who has now driven up to the 4th position, up 28 spots from the start, so a fantastic run right now for Brandon Browning, but we saw him get sideways, just loose in the middle of the corner. That time we saw Jake May do it. So expect on the next opportunity for some of these drivers to come down and take a set of tires. We see Joe Torres that time. Now he gets sideways. Just off corner exit all by himself. These tires are wearing thin. Not something you expect to see at Talladega. Four to go, yeah, till at the end of the stage. Everybody in this front group right now pretty much guaranteed some stage points. Blaney has dropped off the back with Scott Stockel. Those two are 9th and 10th. Torres, the first one outside of the stage points, as Jake May catching with a head of steam. He'll give the three of Torres a huge shot. And they'll try to catch this front group, but I don't think they're going to have enough laps. Lap 60, the end of stage 2. Who's going to be the first car to pull out here? You got to think that Andrew Mraz wants to get his lap back. Or one of them. I believe he's 4 laps down. And now these front three starting to stretch it. 2 to go here in stage number 2. Peeks that nose out. Car getting a little bit hot. You see the 12 of Tiller gets sideways there off the corner. He's making the move. Russo with him. Andrew Russo in the 27. 2 cars now to the inside as they try to make their way to the front as we're coming to the white flag on the stage. White flag on the stage. The end of lap 60 will be the end of stage number 2. Right now, Jim Thorndike, your leader. Will Landon Lacey in second make a move, or will he push him all the way across the line? You expect Matthias to make a move. He's been pretty aggressive, but has made those moves work all night long. Coming down to the front stretch. Thorndike out front. Lacey not making a move. Thorndike across the line. Lacey in second. Matthias comes home third. Scott Wise in fourth. Fifth, Dalton Fredericks. John Tiller in the 6th position. 7th is Andrew Russo. 8th, Brandon Browning. 9th, Jason Blaney. And rounding out your top 10, Scott Stockel. That second group could not reel in those 2 cars to try and get a stage point. So Joe Torres and Jake May not getting any stage points after running in that front group for most of that stage, but dropping off and not able to catch back up before it was over. Robinson, Campeggio, and Quentin Clark will round out our top 15. Jim Thorndike will win stage number 2. We'll see if he'll come in and at least take fuel. But if I'm one of these cars, if I'm seeing some of these cars slipping around, you know that they're not taking tires every stop. We've seen them come in and take fuel only multiple times. And that tire wear percentage is going to stay high. It's not going to say that it's wearing very much, but these tires are probably getting hot and slippery, especially with track temp as high as it is. Here we come. Down the pit lane, Jim Thorndike leads them in. Everybody down. Gary Wells up the outside wall there. Oh, and Thorndike misses his pit stall, has to back up. He will take tires. I'm seeing, I don't think Lacey's taking tires here. Several cars missing their pits. And I'm telling you right now, that's because these tires are hot. Scott Wise come out of that pit lane pretty hot there. So we'll have to see. That might be a speeding penalty for Scott Wise. Maybe not, but he was coming down with a head of steam, it looked like. So Landon Lacey will get out of pit lane first. And he took no tires there. A couple of cars trying to get a wave around. One of those is the 30 of Gary Wells. And the 8 of Simon Grills. We're having news from the 13. Brayton Laster says that he blew up while pacing around. So some of that damage has come back to haunt him here. Is no engine activity from Brayton Laster's Ford Mustang as he will coast down the pit lane. The Brayton Laster will be out of this race. And Wells chooses to pit there. He will not take the wave around. He's another one that misses his pit, so wild what we're seeing from these drivers missing their pits. I think their tires are just overheating. Now the 8 of Simon Grills will take the free pass there. Scott Wise was keeping the pit lane speed, so he'll maintain his 3rd position. A fantastic run up 9 spots to the 3rd position. We'll see how this restart will work. We know Thorndike has been very fast off the nose of Landon Lacey, but right now Lacey in control of this restart. Will he let Thorndike jump to the bottom? Or does he think that he's got the pace in that number 52 to try and stay out front? Big shout out to everyone who's tuned in, watching with us tonight. If you wouldn't mind giving us a like or a subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Appreciate you all tuning in. Got 19 viewers right now. We've had as high as 26 tonight. Just a fantastic audience out there. Watching Landon Lacey take charge of this race. Waiting for the green flag. And green, we are underway. And that restart, 52 was the control car, but Thorndike gets a good restart. We'll have to see if that's some sort of penalty. Usually that restart zone pretty heavily judged by iRacing. Back around. 59 of Thorndike in the lead. Brandon Browning, Landon Lacey, all teammates on the bottom. Up in the outside line, John Tiller leading them around. We've seen the outside line be the faster line, the one with the better pace. Right now, John Tiller in the catbird seat. We'll see if Blaney can push him out there. John Tiller to the lead. Torres comes along with them. They're going to have the top three spots. Thorndike gets shuffled. He jumps up into the middle lane, but he's a good ways back. Quentin Clark now up into this group 6th position, but John Tiller is your leader. Thorndike up the middle. He'll get back down in front of the 48, so loses that front position, but is able to get it back. That bottom line just does not have the pace that the middle line has. The 29 of Mike Robinson and the 3 of Joe Torres drops to the bottom line. Can they find the pace around the bottom? We've not seen it much tonight. The outside line has been the more powerful line, and once again, they start to pull out. Just the momentum around that outside line. They're getting such more speed down the straightaway. And John Tiller and Jason Blaney continue to lead this thing out front. Now we've got a third lane, the number 1 of Roger Matias up there on the outside, leading the 52 of Lacey, who was down on the bottom line, gets all the way to the outside to push this one around the very top line. This is not looking like your typical Talladega race. Usually it's bottom line is the preferred line and the middle line is trying to, be that outside line. But now you've got the middle line and the outside line, not something you typically see for Talladega. But anything can happen in an open setup race. These cars designed, set up to race a certain way. As Blaney tries to throw the block, a little late, chooses the better decision of staying in line. And look at Lacey push this one of Matias out front. .25 to go, and they're now 3 wide in the middle of the pack. Lacey pushing Matias out front. Will they move to the middle lane? It looks like they might. No, they're going to stay right against the wall. And back here in the group, this pack all over each other. We haven't talked a whole lot about him tonight, but that 77 or more junior is still out there on the lead lap. Currently in the 15th spot as he's trying to make his way up through the field. The two outside lines right now making it work. Tiller, who is still in the lead of this middle group. Now Blaney chooses to go to the outside. The 48 of Browning with a hard hit to the outside wall. I don't know if that was a result of the block from Blaney or Blaney trying to get up to that outside line. That was a pretty good hit for the 48 of Brandon Browning. See the 5 there a little loose. Stockel staying in line. 3 teammates there together, led right now by John Tiller. Tiller right now in the 4th position. But you got to think that he's probably in the prime position with 2 teammates right behind him. We'll see how long they wait before they move. 22 laps to go here at Talladega in the National Sim Group Cup Series. Roger Matias out front from Puerto Rico. The number 1 in the number 1 position, but in that 2nd spot, Landon Lacey. I'll go ahead and say it. I think Landon Lacey is the best pusher in the field. We've seen him drive by, outside, inside, middle lane. Doesn't matter as long as there's a car in front of him. We've seen him push multiple cars into the lead. That time pushing Matias from way back in the pack around the 3rd lane. We've got a crash on the backstretch. Looks like the 8 of Simon Grill's around. The 38 also involved. Both those cars multiple laps down. You see the fender barely hanging on for the 38 of Nathan Lyon. Hopefully that will stay on the race car and does not cause a debris caution. See the smoke from those spinning cars still on the backstretch. Roger Matias out front. Lacey there in second. Now John Tiller is in third place as Fredericks moves around to the bottom line trying to make something happen. But John Tiller right behind him, teammate Jason Blaney in the 22 as Dalton Fredericks continues to try to make this middle line work. It's been a long time since I've seen the outside line just be the preferred line, and right now Dalton Fredericks, this inside line is starting to grow a little support down around the bottom. The 10 of Jake May, a great pusher. Can he push Dalton Fredericks in this inside line back around Lacey? I think really it doesn't matter what line it is. I really think it's Lacey being the driving factor here. He just does so well, able to keep the pace up. The momentum that they're getting out of these corners is just impressive as you see the drive away that they've got. And here comes John Tiller down to the inside, third position. All the Fords to the bottom. Chevys around the outside. The Toyota Camry of Roger Matias in the lead. We know Blaney's a good pusher, but can he get enough momentum off these corners? Dakota Bailey with a slight block. Blaney jumps back up to the outside line. Let's see if he makes room for his teammate. John Tiller will jump up once again to 17 to go. That attack right there, not successful. Tiller back to the bottom. We'll see if they learned anything after the first attempt. This time, a teammate fills the hole for Landon Lacey, and Quentin Clark will now move up to the third spot. Joe Torres into fourth, and Tiller will now be back to fifth spot. Dakota Bailey gets shuffled out. Bailey currently in the 28th position, several laps down. Torres from the fourth spot. Nobody goes with him. Tiller will move back up into that spot where he just left. Torres desperately wanting to lead a lap. 15 to go now. Thorndike, a name that we haven't talked about in a little while, but he led a lot of laps early in this race. The Thorndike right now into 59, back up to 7th. This outside line just dominant right now. Oh, and there goes Torres around. Still no caution as he's able to save it. Let's take a quick look at just what happened there in the back of the field. Dalton Fredericks giving a push. Looks like the 3 just off the pace. Gets hooked a little bit and back up the track. The 33 of Scott Wise probably ends up with the most damage out of that. Now the 3 of Torres off the pace, back in 17th position. So Torres will need a caution to have a shot at this one. Quentin Clark has moved up to the 3rd spot. Teammate in front of him in position, but directly in front of him, Andrew Mraz, a couple of laps down. So Quentin Clark, we'll see if he's able to get up there with teammate Landon Lacey and maybe push Lacey around this leader. So 14 laps to go. Everyone's starting to get a little single file. Jake May, the only car on the inside, he's going to get shuffled out here. He's going to drop all the way to the back of this group and just hope that he can hang on with speed, I think. A couple drops down, the 5 of Stockel. May will get back in the line. May continuing to get on the attack, but nobody going with him. Everyone just following the Roger Matias #1 machine, that Toyota Camry in the lead, but really the power coming from the Chevrolet behind. Front 3 cars looking to make a breakaway here as they are nose to tail for a whole lap and gain a little bit of time. The front group, this whole line of cars gets stretched out there. Thorndike on the attack, May with him. What they really need is these fueled up Fords to pull down in front of them. Thorndike at risk of losing the draft. There goes May out of the corner, sideways down to the inside wall. A hard hit for Jake May, head on to that inside wall as he will continue. Let's take a look, see if he just got loose out of the corner. Looks like that's the case. Another car just getting loose. Didn't hit nearly as hard as it looked like he was going to. So that car will continue, but he's going to be off the pace now as he has lost the draft. 13th position for Jacob May. The 77 of Andrew Moore Jr., he has also lost the draft. So without a caution, a lot of these cars just can't hang on. The pace that Roger Matias and Landon Lacey have put together here is nothing short of impressive. Now Andrew Rousseau starts to fall off the back of the pack. And when these cars start to drop off like this, it's just making it harder and harder and harder for anybody to get a run Now we've got a caution on the speedway. One of our leaders, Jason Blaney, will go around. And he is crab walking that thing down the backstretch. Something majorly broke on the Jason Blaney Ford Mustang. Let's take a look. Looks like he and Thorndike get together, as Blaney had pulled down to the inside line. Thorndike, not sure if he was trying to side draft there or just what happened. Maybe he got loose like we've seen some others, but turns the 22 up into the outside wall. Just the two cars involved. Really, the only one with a major bit of damage was Jason Blaney. He's able to continue and catch the front group under caution here. We'll see if he's able to come in and get some of that repaired and get back out there. But your leader right now is Roger Matias. Thorndike going to be the first car into the pit lane. Several of the cars a little further back head in as well. And the 20 of Fredericks gets spun right there. We'll take a look back at watch the 20. Just gassed it up, and I'm telling you, these tires that some of these drivers have on have got to be worn out. As you see the 20, just a little too much gas, and right around he goes. He knows that into the wall pretty hard. Looks like Mike Robinson's going to be the first car off the pit lane. So 13th on back, pitted there. Track position is so important. If you don't have tires at this point, you're not going to get them with only 6 laps to go. But there's a real opportunity for someone with tires to drive through the field. There's a real opportunity for someone who did not get tires to just loop it. We've seen a lot of cars getting sideways, loose. I think the tires are just overheating. There's not any grip. We took a look earlier. We'll take a look again. Tonight's race info. 130 degrees on the track temp, 91 degrees the ambient temperature here in Talladega, Alabama. So it's hard. There's not much grip out there, and when your tires get hot, you coming off the corner, getting sideways. We've seen several cars do it. Jacob May, he chose to stay out there even after being involved in that last, getting sideways. Hit the inside wall pretty good. Not seeing a whole lot of damage, so maybe come away not too bad after that spin out. Looks like we're going to have 4 green flag laps, excuse me, as we're 5 to go right now. And we're going to take the green with 4 laps remaining. And also on the line tonight, the Dash for Cash qualifiers. Right now, Roger Matias is in that spot to get advanced into next week for the Dash for Cash. Top 4 go. Landon Lacey currently in, Quentin Clark currently in, and John Tiller. Right now, your top 4 finishers, and they will all go and race for some money next week, the best one of those 4, but he'll have to hold on for 4 more laps. And really, is that likely? Is it likely that these 4 are going to be our same 4 to qualify in with 4 to go at Talladega Superspeedway? The pace truck pulls down to the inside. Roger Matias will lead us off. As he gets down to the restart zone. There he's in the zone, green flag, and the 94 spins the tires down into the grass. He's able to save it, but he's got to get back up there and try and get up to speed now. Quentin Clark, they're passing him 2 by 2 on the outside. He's going to drop all the way outside of the top 10 after he started 3rd. And that Dash for Cash hopes that Quentin Clark had not half a lap ago now dwindling away off into the distance as Roger Matias and Landon Lacey take this outside line. And when Quentin Clark stacked that bottom up, that really made it hard. The whole outside line went. Three to go. And I don't really see anybody making a move. What I am seeing, though, is John Tiller and Scott Stockel, both teammates. Right behind them, Michael Spengler, another Ford. Lacey continues to push. The lap's winding down. 2 to go now as they cross the line. We now have a large group, but they're all single file. Someone's going to have to make a move. Blaney now to the inside, but he's all alone way back in the pack. Nobody going with him. A lap and a half to go. Fredericks pulls to the inside. Blaney along with him. Can they get back to the white flag under green? Jake May making a move around the bottom. No, we're at caution. And it's Cody Bullock. Let's take a look at what happened to Cody Bullock there. It looks like a lot of pushing going on. They come out of the corner. The 94 with a run just hits that inside. Looks like he tried to lift as he goes up in front of the 9 and he gets turned into the outside wall. The 51 just spins around and doesn't get hit anymore. But Quentin Clark actually took a pretty good shot to this outside wall. Let's take a look this time, full speed from the cockpit. Boom, a hard hit to the outside wall. So there's going to be a little bit of damage. Even if it's just aero or nose damage, Quentin Clark going to have some damage from that contact to the outside wall. That's got to be frustrating for Roger here. Roger Rios Matias. As he was on the main straightaway, on that front straightaway, heading to the white flag. And that flagman just out in front of him throws the caution, throws that yellow flag instead of the white flag. It's got to be extremely frustrating. And not quite close enough to see the flagman, but certainly frustrating. There was the caution lights. You're coming around and you see that caution flag waving in the pace truck out there. Not what you want to see. Looks like Braden Laster has made that motor swap on pit road in 31 minutes. I think you're a little past the damaged vehicle policy, Braden Laster. So not sure that would be a thumbs up from NASCAR, but here in the iRacing world, that's more than welcome. 31 minutes if you want to sit there on pit road that long, and Braden did it as they have fixed that car, but he's going to be multiple laps down. On the pit lane, Jim Thorndike coming in, getting some damage repaired, maybe a set of tires. Cody Bullock getting a set of tires. And Brandon Browning getting some more damage fixed. Here at Fox, 1 lap down right now. Is there something different that Landon Lacey can do on this restart to try and get by Matias? We've not seen it happen earlier in the race. We did see the outside line get a jump and go by the inside line, but I think Lacey has some damage from an earlier incident. I don't think he's got the aero to be out front. Certainly has the power, the engine, and the setup to be the best pusher in the field. And if I am Roger Matias, I am hoping and praying that I can get out in front of Landon Lacey because he's been very good. So once they went around the outside 3 wide from the back of the pack and have not left the front. They've been 1-2 basically ever since. Green, white checker. What could go wrong here at Talladega? We're now going to have them stacked up again. We saw Quentin Clark not have the restart that he needed there. Once again, Dash for Cash qualifying drivers right now. Roger Matias still in that first position. Lacey still in a transfer spot to get to next week. And John Tiller still in there. So those three held on from the last restart. Now we've got Scott Stockel in the number 5, who's in that Dash for Cash qualifying spot. So we'll see if these four can hang on. A green-white checker. Who's going to make the move? We know they're going to be 2 wide, maybe 3 wide. Down that front straightaway. The number 1 of Roger Matias will lead us off as we get down into the restart zone. Green flag is out. Matias up through the gears. He'll now jump to the outside to get in front of Lacey. John Tiller will lead the bottom line. Jake May looks to take it 3 wide up the gut. Oh, and he had a big run. There was a spin in the middle. There was a wreck there that didn't happen. A couple of them do go off to the inside. There it goes. Another big crash and a caution. AJ Cruz backwards. Jason Blaney sideways. He gets it back going. We'll now head into our second green-white checker. Take a look. Blaney already sideways there. We'll back it up. Blaney looks like he's just trying to get to that outside line. Thought there was a gap there, and there wasn't. The 75 of AJ Cruz, the 9 of Campeggio comes down across the line and turns the 3 with a pretty hard hit to the inside wall. The 9 will take one as well. So one more look at it. This was the earlier incident where I said there was a crash there that didn't happen, but it did. They just got to the inside, and they were the only 2 cars involved. The 33 of Wise, the 29 of Robinson. Everyone checks up there, and Robinson off the nose of Rousseau. He had checked up and came back down the 27 and already filled that gap. And they get going straight, but now in front of them, another incident. So Campeggio will lead those cars with damage into the pit row. Brandon Browning, Joe Torres all in to get damage repaired. Kind of like we might be up against the edge of the time limit. We'll have to see. Maybe they should have waited us to 1 to green there. Matias laying back from that pace truck. This will be our second green white checker attempt. I think we have 3 of those. But as Braden has pointed out in the chat, that it looks like there might be a 2-hour time limit, which we're sitting at 1 hour and 58 minutes. So I would expect this time around to be 1 to go. 1 to green, excuse me. Yeah, we have 2 minutes left now. We'll see if it does go green. I'm not sure even if it does that anybody's got anything for Matthias, so not having a green flag finish if we don't get one. I think the rightful guy is going to win this either way, and that's Roger Matthias, but we'll see if we can get a green flag lap. But it takes over a minute to go around this lap, to go around this track under green. And right now we are at the 1 minute mark and coming around for another caution lap, and those take about 1.5 minutes. So I'm expecting maybe a checker flag to be displayed when we get back around. I think they kind of missed the opportunity to go 1 to green a lap early, and we would have had a 1-lap shootout, but I don't think we're going to get that now. We'll see what iRacing chooses to do. They may let him go for a green-white checker. Maybe Brayton was wrong on the time limit. Double file down the backstretch. Lights off on the pace truck. Roger Matthias out front. Can he get the same restart he's had 2 or 3 times now, as he has had to jump in front? But now we've got Matthias, Landon Lacey, John Tiller, and Jacob May is right now your 4 that would move on in the Dash for Cash next week. They're coming to the line. Timing and scoring still says 3 laps to go. We'll see when they go green. This is likely the last green-white checker attempt. Green flag. We will have the full green-white checker. 2 laps to go. Matthias up to the top lane in front of Lacey. But right now, if you're that bottom line, you're trying to hold on to that top 4 spot. You want to race for that Dash for Cash next week. Jake May with a move to the inside of Lacey. A hard side draft down the backstretch. Now he's going to get hung out to dry. Moore Jr. now moves into the 3rd spot. And 1 goes around, it's Jason Blaney. Green flag remains on the speedway. Cars lighting up everywhere. iRacing continuing as we're seeing checkered flag, as it is white flag. Coming to the line, Matthias gets it done. Landon Lacey comes home 2nd. Dalton Fredericks finishes 3rd. and Andrew Rousseau comes home in the 4th position. Those will be your Dash for Cash drivers next week. Jacob May rounds out your top 5. Jim Thorndike, Joey Lamb, Scott Stockel, Andrew Moore Jr., and Michael Spengler will be your top 10 here tonight at Talladega in the National Sim Group Cup Series. But I do believe your rightful winner, the guy who has led a lot of laps here at the end, Landon Lacey, pushed him around this racetrack for a lot of the end of this race. Could not get by as Matthias with another big move at the end. Let's take a look as they came down to the line. Lacey had a run on the bottom. Matthias with the side draft and back across the line. And he gets it done for the win. And now Matthias will come down to do his burnout. Your winner, Roger Rios Matias. See if we can get a word from our top 3 finishers. Your 3rd place finisher, Dalton Fredericks. Let's see if we can get a word. Hey, Dalton, this is Dakota in the broadcast booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, what a wild race. Looked like you were involved in a couple of incidents throughout the day, but you're able to battle back and get that car back up to the 3rd place finish. How were you able to drive back up through the field? I think you started kind of back there, but it looks like you gained 22 positions. Tell us about your race today.
Yeah, our race was kind of all over the place. We were really focused on stage points, uh, but overall, we were everyone on the team was up, down, up, down. We all had our own problems, but uh, yeah, on the last run, we were just able to pick cars one by one, and uh, the thing was trying to time everything. Wait, just patience. Patience is the biggest thing, but overall, the team did very good, and we worked together really well when we were able to hook up.
Yeah, well, battling your way back up through there, you get into the top 4. That qualifies you for the Dash for Cash next week at Darlington. What are your thoughts on Darlington? Do you think you can win? And do you think you can beat Matthias, Lacey, and Russo to get that money there next week?
I think if once I get enough practice there, I think I'll be able to compete pretty good. We got an awesome guy that helps us set up our car and really teaches me well how to drive and helps me fix my driving style and whatnot. But with that, hopefully that'll give us a chance at the cash, and um, hopefully we can also transfer all the information and whatnot to all the other teammates.
Absolutely. Well, phenomenal finish. You got any shout outs or anybody you'd like to thank after the end of this one?
Yeah, give me 1 second here. I would like to thank HSR, the team HSR, Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. Go check them out uh, on YouTube and whatnot, and go and follow their Facebook page. Face Treasures, go check them out. Drinking Bros Auto Racing, go check out their Facebook page. Them guys are awesome. They help us out a lot. And Hutch Paints and just everyone on the team. I want to thank everyone on the team. We work really well as a team, and our head boss, Joe Hutchings, he's really good at what he does and getting the people we need to help us in future events.
Absolutely. Well, great race, Dalton. Seem to be talking to you a whole lot more, and hopefully we're able to talk to you next week winning that Dash for Cash race.
That's the goal. See you there.
All righty. Have a good one. That was Dalton Fredericks, our third place finisher. Let's get a word with Landon Lacey, still hanging out there on the speedway. Hey, Landon, this is Dakota in the broadcast booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, another super speedway, another second place finish for that 52. What were your thoughts out there? You got involved in an incident early and got some damage. It looked to me like you just weren't able to really lead the pack, but boy, when you were in second, that line was moving.
Yeah, after I got that damage, I just that first wreck, I made a bad block and got crossed up, and it just cost us a fast race car. The car was quick, but yeah, I couldn't lead a line after that, and so my objective was just try to push somebody, and that's what it was. And then there at the end, I was just trying to see if I could race into the line, and it was a pretty good race, but just came up a little bit short. But you know, second place 3 weeks in a row. I don't think I could be any happier to not have a win. You know, having 3 in a row, it's about the equivalent.
Yeah, well, one's coming for sure. I've been able to cover you enough to know that you find your way to victory lane quite often. But an impressive move there about mid-race. You and the one of Matthias run around that outside line 3 wide and drive by the field. And once you guys get there, you just never leave. What were the lines doing out there? It looked like it was hard for the bottom line to get going, which was odd, I thought, for a Talladega race. The very outside line there at the end, you guys were just really pushing hard on the outside, and nobody could get around on the bottom.
Yeah, originally coming into the race, we knew the top was going to be dominant. I didn't think it was going to be all the way up next to the wall was going to be dominant. I figured the middle lane was going to be the line that was quickest, but we got up to the top and we got it working, and it just seemed like nobody could get a big enough run to get around us. So I got to credit everybody over at Riot and Filthy 5 for coming up with the game plans that we went through tonight.
Yeah, you come home there second place. This one, though, different from some of the others, is this one qualifies you for the Dash for Cash next week. You head to Darlington. What are your thoughts on Darlington and, you know, your opponents, Matthias, Fredericks, Russo, for that Dash for Cash?
I don't know. We'll see. I like Darlington. I like that a lot. Riding up next to the wall, kind of getting what we did tonight, but in a different state. But that track's always been good to me. So we'll try to see if we can take the cash home and get us a win as well.
Absolutely. Well, phenomenal race. You got any shout outs or anybody you'd like to thank after this one, Landon?
Oh yeah, shout out to everybody over at Filthy 5. Thanks to everybody over at Riot Motorsports as well for all the help that they've been giving us these past couple weeks. Thanks to you for the broadcast. Thanks to the admins and everybody for putting this on. And other than that, thank you to everybody that's gotten me here to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks you to putting on a great show for us. And yeah, we'll be talking to you hopefully next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
That was Landon Lacey, our second place finisher. Let's get a word from Roger Matthias, tonight's winner in the number 1. Hey, Roger, this is Dakota in the broadcast booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, what a phenomenal run. You and Landon Lacey look like you worked very well together out there. He pushed you around that outside line and into the lead, and you just never looked back after that point. What were your thoughts on this race, and why did you take that outside line? Because I would not have expected it to be so dominant, but you took it there and kept it there, and nobody could pass you.
Well, like mid throughout the race, like they left me on the bottom, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to make any moves down here. So we just throughout the race just worked to get up top and to move forward. I was able to hook up with a couple of the guys, with Landon and Miraz and all them. We were able to come up to the front.
Yeah, man, you got it done, but this win tonight will qualify you into the Dash for Cash next week at Darlington. What are your thoughts on Darlington? And you've got Landon Lacey, Dalton Fredericks, a couple of strong competitors, as well as Andrew Rousseau, who's already won a race this season. What are your thoughts on competing with them next week for the Dash for Cash at Darlington?
Should be a good race. I have a love-hate relationship with Darlington though.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough racetrack, riding up against the wall. But a great finish here, Roger. I think is this your first start?
My first start.
Hey, undefeated. So you got any shout outs or anybody you'd like to thank after this one, Roger?
I want to thank Miraz Hanley for help with the setups, and the Filthy Motorsport guys, Filthy 5, for the help tonight and throughout the week.
Absolutely. Great job. And hopefully we'll be talking to you with a little bit of cash in your hand next week after you win that Dash for Cash race.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the broadcast.
Absolutely. Got to keep that undefeated streak rolling.
We'll try.
All right. Have a good one. And that was Roger Rios, Matias, our winner here tonight. Catch us this week. We got a big figure 8 race coming up this week. Thursday and Friday, there's going to be qualifying races and a big main feature. And that's going to be put on by Brayton Laster and a bunch of his group up there in Indianapolis. We look forward to broadcasting that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night will be the main feature. Thursday and Friday will be the qualifying races. Another 60 entries. I think they're only able to take 30 to 33, I think, for that main feature. So it's going to be a wild set of nights, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Make sure you tune in right here on the Throttle Up Racing Network for some wild figure 8 action. But we will be back with you next week here on Tuesday night to cover that Dash for Cash race at Darlington. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast tonight. I know we've had some issues with the graphics, but I've been working hard to get those sorted out. I don't think we had any tonight, so appreciate everybody for jumping in the comments and letting us know how it looked. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.